This week, we repair a bat that's almost as old as I am. We take a tip from one of the comments on a previous video. And whilst we wait for that to dry, I make a desk for my office at home. As with every other bat repair, we come and collect the bat from the stand. I find it absolutely crazy that this bat is almost as old as I am. I was doing a bit of research and trying to find out how old the bat actually was, and it's hard to find an exact date, but it dated from around the early 2000s. So to say it's still going strong is a real testament to the way they made bats back then. I'm not sure that many of the bats made now will stand that test of time. The bat had some really big cracks, one running close to the toe, and a really odd one on the back of the bat. The customers tried to use some tape to hold it together, which seems to have done a bit of a job, but of course, that's really only a temporary fix. However, considering the age of this bat, it's in fairly good condition. As you can see though, there's a lot of tape across the front of the blade there, which means there's going to be a lot of sticky residue left behind afterwards. You can also see that I used the heat gun on too high a setting, as it's slightly burnt the willow. I think this is because I got too close with the heat gun and used it on too high of a setting. I think the high setting comes from how cold it was in the workshop though. I also have no idea how this shelf is still standing. You can see my shoddy craftsmanship there with the 3 screws that are sticking out. I have to try and avoid these when sliding stuff onto the shelf. Just to add to how cold it is as well at the minute in the UK, I had to heat the glue up as the glue had gone hard from how cold it is in the workshop. Which is funny, as the last bat repair video I did, I stated how it was starting to get a little bit warmer here in the UK. Well, with how busy we've been with repairs and stuff, content has been way down the list unfortunately. So I was a bit unsure how to approach this crack on the bike. I initially was just going to go with some CA glue or super glue. Giving closer inspection to the rest of the bat as well, I thought the best option would be the PVA wood glue. To reiterate as well, I was really impressed in the state of this bat, considering the age of it. It really has stood the test of time, and I know the customer quite well, so I know that this bat scored a hell of a lot of runs too. As we say with every bat that has large cracks and repairs on it, we come in and tape up. This just provides a bit of extra tension before we clamp up. I've only just noticed when I've come back to edit this, the amount that that square is rocking in the background. Now, you're going to have to take my word for it that I successfully clamped up and the clamps look like this, because as happens with most of the videos, the memory card was full by the time I got to filming this part, as it was the last shot of the day. So you'll just have to take my word for it that it ended up looking like this. In a previous video, I stated how I was struggling to get the sticky residue off the back of the blades. Not wanting to use any other kind of sticky residue removal stuff from B&Q or any other hardware stores, mainly just to protect the willow, I was a bit stuck for options, and it was taking me a long time to move residue left behind by scuff sheets, edge tape, and the tape that I'd use to tape up overnight. However, one comment on a previous video suggested that I use linseed oil. Now, I was a little sceptical about this. I didn't know whether it would work. However, I tested it out on a few bats before this one, and it seemed to work a treat. Given that you use linseed oil for bats anyway, I wasn't that opposed to it. Plus, it seems to be working really well, so I think I'll continue to use it in the future. The only problem with this linseed oil method is that you have to wait for it to dry. It takes around 10 minutes or so. This gave me the perfect opportunity to cut down a desk to size that I've been meaning to do for ages. It was an old worktop that I found in the loft of a house that we moved into, and I was in need of a desk, so I thought they'd make the perfect desktop. And as you can see, it's worked an absolute treat, as when we come to sand, there wasn't much resistance at all. I also did a lot more hand sanding on this bat. I think that was to try and preserve the stickers. Going in with a big machine sander around the stickers is never a good idea, as it seems to scratch them up a lot. I did scratch the odd bit of sticker here and there, and I didn't really think it through when it comes to the buffing wheel. However, most of the stickers have seemed to stay intact throughout the sanding process and throughout the polishing process. But it's important to remember that these stickers will get scratched a little bit, unless you don't go sanding at all near them and you go an inch or two below the sticker. However, I think the look afterwards makes it worthwhile. even if the stickers are a little bit scratched. But these stickers are 20 years old. They aren't going to be in the best of condition anyway. If it was a brand new bat with brand new stickers, I probably wouldn't recommend sanding so close to them. But I think it adds to the retro vibe of this bat. And a few bits of sticker missing here and there, I think actually look pretty cool. I was a little bit worried this bat wasn't going to come out how I wanted it to. Working through it, it's kind of the same with every bat, to be honest. You have a little bit of anxiety here and there about whether it's going to come out exactly how you'd hoped in your head. But I was really chuffed with this one, to be honest. It really did come out quite nicely. To reiterate from previous videos, it's important to hand sand the CA glue to fill in those surface cracks before you start machine sanding them, otherwise the smells and the fumes can cause you real trouble. It was a rather unpleasant experience and burnt my eyes and my nose and my ears. It really does fill me with a lot of joy how clean and how fresh a bat can look after just a little bit of sanding work. It really is fantastic. You really can transform an old bat into a new bat almost. It really is an enjoyable experience. The way we finish off every repair is by coming and polishing the bat on the buffing wheel. I'm really fortunate actually to have a buffing wheel of this size, because most buffing wheels you find now are really small and just take so much longer. Although they will be quite useful for the intricate bits on this bat around the sticker. And then a little bit of linseed oil on the face of the blade and on the toe. I found the tip, put linseed oil on the toe from Labour and Wood, who suggested it to help keep moisture out. I'm not a massive fan of toe guards, as I think they just come off straight away anyway. Yes, they're useful for keeping moisture out, but they don't last very long. A good dab of linseed oil on the bottom of a toe sometimes is just as good. I never understood the green circles and stuff on these cutting boards though. I've always wondered what they're for and why they're there. So once our linseed oil and the edge tape is applied, we come on and fit the scuff sheet. This scuff sheet that I've bought isn't as wide as the previous scuff sheets that I had. However, it probably works a little bit better as it fits a bit more snug over the face of the bat. And this one's probably a little better quality too compared to the one I had previously. And then the most dreaded part of the refurb, putting the grip on. This week I decided not to show this on camera, just because it's painstaking for me and for you watching. However, once the grip's been applied, the bat is looking pretty clean. It's pretty exciting to see a bat go from its previous format into what it is now. And even if this bat has been around for 20 years, or however long it's been around for, it's got a lot of life left in it yet.